Welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. I am Dr. A. Navanita, Assistant Professor in EC Department, Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. Okay, so here in this one today I am going to discuss a topic which is very important for every engineering student to understand. So today topic is nothing but microprocessors and microcontrollers. So as we are using many gadgets, electronic gadgets, isn't it? So we are using a mobile phone, you are using a calculator, you are using a desktop, isn't it? And washing machine, micro oven, robots, ATM machine, your AC, so many electronic gadgets we are using. Every common man makes use of all these electronic gadgets. So here whenever these electronic gadgets are made worldwide, these electronic gadgets are made with, already we know that they are made with the hardware and the software, isn't it? So here whatever the hardware which is used, already I discussed in my previous videos, hardware used for making these electronic gadgets is CPU, memory, input device, output device. Okay. So here in this one, whatever the hardware which we make use, as I mentioned, we are going to use the hardware as CPU, memory, input devices and output device. Okay, so here along with the hardware we are going to use software which will make use your gadgets to work. Okay, so here in this one, whatever the hardware which you are using, CPU, that is stands for central processing unit. So here in this one, whenever we get into the central processing unit, this central processing unit CPU can be used as a microprocessor or they can be used as a microcontroller. Okay, so the microprocessor also you can call it as a CPU. Okay, and you are going to make use of microcontroller also a CPU. So then what is the difference between these microprocessors and the microcontroller, which we have to know. So here in this one, whenever we get into this microprocessor, whatever the CPU which you are using, this CPU we are going to call it as a microprocessor, or they can be called as processor, or they can be called as a computer. Okay, so here in this one, any name can be, they can be called CPU, which is you are using a mobile phone, isn't it? That mobile phone which you are using, that mobile phone consists of CPU, memory, input device, output device. Whatever the CPU which you are making use, that CPU we are calling as either a microprocessor, processor, or the computer. So what does the CPU will do? It is nothing but a program controlled IC, that is chip. Yeah, it is a program controlled IC which does certain operation according to the program written. Okay, so here in this one, whatever this program controlled IC is there, this program controlled CPU, when it is connected to the input device with the help of input port circuit, here your input device, you can take it as a keyboard, or you can take it as a mouse, or you can take it as a scanner. Okay, and the CPU is also connected to the output device, which is through the output port circuit, and CPU is also connected to the memory. Already in my last videos I have explained how a computer system is going to work. Okay, those are means they can go to the that video and they can check out. So whatever this, whenever the CPU is connected to the external hardware circuits like input port circuit, output port circuit and memory circuit, then that CPU is called as microprocessor. Okay, so whenever you are making simply a CPU can also, in some books it can be called as a computer too. So here whenever this computer is connected to the peripheral devices, those peripheral devices nothing but input device, output device and memory, then that CPU will be called as a computer system, like your mobile phone, calculator, washing machine, robo, or any electronic gadget which you take it. Okay, so here in this one, whenever you take an example of your microprocessor, that microprocessor is nothing but a 8085. First microprocessor was invented in the year 1971, and that microprocessor was 804 microprocessor. Now nowadays we are using in your computer systems or your mobile phones, the processor is used in nothing but ARM Cortex-A processor, and even a DSP processor are used for digital signal processing. Whatever the ARM processors are that are used in your computer and your mobile phones. These processors can be either 16-bit, 32-bit or 64-bit. So here in this one, all the example, not only ARM, earlier 8086 and 8085 is an example of your microprocessor. Next, when we get into the microcontroller, even these microcontrollers in the gadgets, if you take a washing machine, micro oven, or in the robo, ATM machine, anything. So here in this one, you are going to use the CPU. Whatever the CPU which you are using in those gadgets, even those can be called as a microcontroller. But what is the microprocessor also you are calling as a CPU, and microcontroller also you are calling as a CPU. Then what is the difference you are going to have? You are going to have the difference. CPU, when you are connected externally to input device, output device and memory, that CPU we are calling as a microprocessor. Whenever you inside your CPU, that is central processing unit, when you have inside only memory, input port circuit, output port circuit, serial port circuit for serial communication, and timer circuits and interrupt circuit, then that's how CPU can be called as a microcontroller. So here, what does this, my example of a microcontroller is nothing but what many of the students will be doing the projects in the Arduino, isn't it? So in the Arduino, whatever the kind of microcontroller which you are using to do many applications in embedded system, the microcontroller is nothing but Atmel AVR. Similarly, ARM microcontroller we have, PIC microcontroller, you have microchip PIC microcontroller for industrial purpose, and 805 microcontroller you have, that is for a general purpose. They can make use for doing any task. So these microcontrollers will be used for doing in the industrial application to control any machines, and if you go for your in embedded systems, they are used for any system which is going to run your operating systems or real-time operating systems. Okay, so if you take a mobile phone, in your mobile phone you have Android operating system, isn't it? So this is some real-time operating system. So that real-time operating system to work you require some CPUs. So here in this one, in the real-time operating systems, these microcontrollers can be used. So here if you take an example in your if you take a mobile phone, in the mobile phone, how many tasks you are going to do when you are watching the video? You can send and receive the message, you can send and receive the calls, isn't it? So here in this one, at the same time when you are watching the video, you can do sending and receiving the messages also. One work at a time you can do. And in a mobile phone, how many works you can do? You can do sending and receiving the calls, sending and receiving the message, browsing the net, watching the video, isn't it? And word processing, so many works you can do. So any gadget, if you are able to do more than one work, then in that gadgets you have to make use of the CPU, that is nothing but microprocessor. If you go for your washing machine, in the washing machine, what is the work you can do? Only the work related to your clothes only you can do. At a time you can do wash the clothes, or after washing the clothes you can dry the clothes. Washing and dry cannot be done at the same time, isn't it? So here in the electronic gadget where only one work will be done, then in that gadget the CPU used is nothing but the microcontrollers. So I think you got the idea of what is a microprocessor and microcontroller. Then we get into, so example you can take PIC microcontroller, Atmel, ARM and 805. Microprocessor latest is nothing but ARM Cortex-A processor and DSP processors. So next we will get into the difference between, still we have some more difference between your microprocessors and microcontrollers. So the first difference which we can take is nothing but what is the one which you are going to use. Already I told you the CPU is connected externally to the other hardware devices, whereas if you go for microcontroller, inside your CPU only memory, input device, output device is present. Okay, so here in this one example where you are going to use your microprocessor is nothing but your mobile phone, real-time application. Here you can take the example of microcontroller is nothing but your ATM machine, next washing machine. All this comes under your gadgets where you are going to use making use of only single task where microcontroller is made use. So here you can do more than one task. More than one task you can do here in the microprocessor. Like you are in mobile phone, you can watch the video, you can send the messages, you can browse the net, so many things you can do. So if you go for microcontroller, only single task. Single task is nothing but the operation of the work your CPU is going to do. Next one is nothing but because it is connected externally, the space occupied by your microprocessor is more. Space occupied is more. Whereas everything is present inside your microcontroller, here space occupied is less. Because you are using extra hardware here to connect it, here we are going to have power consumption. Power consumption is more when you go for microprocessor. When you go for microcontroller, everything is present inside, isn't it? So power consumption is less. Power consumption is less. Because you are connecting externally here the cost of gadget is going to be more. Here the cost of gadget is going to be less because every hardware, other external hardware is connected internally. Next one, its speed is going to be less. Here speed is going to be more because only one task is performed here. So this is about your difference between your microprocessor and microcontrollers. When you want the task, a single task, less cost, low area, low power, then you go for your microcontroller in building your whatever the system, electronic gadget you want. When you want the system, you want more applications, more tasks in the electronic gadget which you are using. But cost is also more, doesn't matter for you. And next is space less, power space more also it's not. If you have an application, if space is not a criteria, power is not a criteria, cost is not a criteria for you, and you want a more task to be run like your mobile phone, then you can go for the gadgets where you can use the CPU as a microprocessor. Okay, so here it is a good one in the microprocessor also if it occupies low power, low area and high speed, but researchers still now they are not able to get. Maybe in the future engineers they can get the CPU which can do more work but at the cost of low power, high speed and low area. The future researchers may hope but that we will get it. Okay, so I think you got the idea of microprocessor and microcontroller. I request those who are watching the video, please subscribe, place the comments and click the like button. And if you have any doubt, please send message to my number 9849702343. Okay, or my mail ID Nita Alluri @gmail.com. Okay, if you have any doubts or any clarification regarding the subject, you can contact my number or my mail ID. Thank you once again.